All right, Sameep, welcome to the BlockHash podcast live. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks, BlockHash, for having me here today. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing very well, and of course, it's an honor to have you on. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Before we kind of jump into Quickswap and everything, I'm sure some people are probably curious. Who are you? What did you do before Quickswap? Like, what's your story?
It's a very interesting one, I would say. Yeah. I mean, like before Quickswap or before blockchain, it wasn't that interesting. But basically, blockchain and Quickswap made it very interesting for me. I hope you guys will like it as well. So, I'm an engineer by heart, like software developer, and I started my journey somewhere in 2012, and I did some hardcore backend development at that time. And since 20 like up until 2017, I like did that, right? And after 2017, I basically decided to change my domains, and I was looking to do something new because like what I was doing at that time, that was good, that was amazing, but I wanted to do something new, right? So that's when I decided to migrate to somewhere else, and I left my normal 9 to 6 job, and then I decided do something different. And at that particular point of time, I was looking like what to do next. And then I basically figure out that blockchain is something which I would like to do next, right? For maybe next 5-10 years, or maybe for rest of my life. So that's when I switched towards blockchain in 2017. But at that particular time, like Ethereum was very new at that time. It's still new, but in 2017 it was like 1 month or 2 month old baby, I would say. Like, I'm just comparing, right? So the resources were not there to learn anything. If you wanted to learn anything, you wanted to understand something, like resources were like virtually nothing was there. Like, you have to read through the code and everything. The documentation was pretty bad at that time. Like, it was very challenging, and those challenges basically compelled me to come into this particular space. So like that's when my journey into blockchain started. I started with freelancing. I did couple of projects, and at that particular time the demand was like very high for the blockchain developers in 2017 because of the ICO boom at that particular time. But the supply was very, very scarce. Even the supply is scarce right now as well. Like, you don't find very good developers even today, right? After we are like sitting in 4 years from that particular point, but still like developers are very scarce. So I started doing some stuff initially. I launched some of the tokens for some of my clients. I did some smart contracts, and then I landed a good project which was Open Bazaar. So Open Bazaar was a decentralized marketplace, and it was a good project. It's very sad that these guys have to shut down their operations because of the funds somewhere last year, I would say. But it was a great project, and I still love that particular project. So I started working with Open Bazaar, and since then, like, I got tons of opportunity. I worked for healthcare domain, I worked in gaming industry, I worked for like casino based application. And in 2018 I basically jumped into DeFi. So in 2018 was the time when DeFi actually came into existence, like from my opinion. That's when like all the
Mhm.
exchanges like Uniswap, V1, Kyber, Bancor, Compound, like all of those were in making at that time. So that's when I jumped into DeFi industry. And like all thanks to Paraswap team. Basically, I'm part of Paraswap as well, because and the Paraswap and Muni are like, these guys are the one who basically brought me into this DeFi industry, right? So I started developing stuff like protocol, smart contracts for Paraswap. I'm still part of Paraswap team, and I basically like build all their smart contracts and everything over there, right? So like related to smart contracts. So yeah, so then I jumped on to DeFi industry, and since Paraswap is an aggregator, so I was basically forced to learn everything that's happening in the industry, DeFi industry specifically, because Paraswap is an aggregator, so they have to integrate everyone out there, all the exchanges, all the lending protocols, everything. So I basically did a lot of research on Uniswap, Kyber, Bancor, Compound. Like, those were the protocols that were existing at that time. There were no other protocols, right? So yeah, and since then, so basically I have seen DeFi, from its very inception, from day one to this particular day, right? So when I was working on, on Paraswap, and I was working on a couple of other consulting projects as well, and that's when I got into contact with Polygon team somewhere in 2018 while working for a casinos and other layer 2 solutions. Like, so we were basically figuring out where in which particular layer 2 solution we should deploy our applications, because the gas prices at that time on Ethereum were not that high, but it was going up, right? And it wasn't actually useful for a normal user to do tons of trade. So if you are playing a casino game, you cannot like play a game on Ethereum even at that particular time, because at that time as well you have to pay 10 cents or 20 cents to send a transaction. So you're not going to play a casino game over there, right? So we were looking out for layer 2 solutions, and then And that's when like I got in touch with the Polygon ecosystem, their team, and now their team is a friend. Like, so I like Sandeep is a friend, JD is a friend, and Rag is a friend, like very, very good friends, I would say, right? So yeah, so like, because I am one of the very early adopters of Polygon, so I still remember like our application, I think, was one of the first applications on Polygon mainnet. So I started working on Polygon when there was no mainnet for Polygon, right? And like we launched our application when their mainnet was launched. So that's when our journey started onto Polygon, like, and I started interacting with these guys. And somewhere, in last July or August, like we were looking into this trend where gas prices were constantly increasing, the Ethereum prices were constantly increasing. And because of these two things in constantly increasing, the transaction prices was exponentially increasing, because gas prices were increasing, like it was 100 goi, 200 goi, sometimes 2000 goi as well, right? And the Ethereum prices were going as well, up as well. So the transaction cost was exponentially increasing. At one point of time, you had to pay almost $30 to do a normal swap on Uniswap, right? Like that's insane. So basically what that meant for us was, like users like us, users like, who are small users, very, very small users or mid-size users, they are no longer using the eco blockchain. They are not doing that because it's not feasible for people like us to pay a transaction cost of $30, right? To swap something or to play a game or to do any insane stuff on blockchain. So gas prices were insane. So that's when we realized, if we want to, like everyone used to talk about bringing next 1 million user to the blockchain, what we should do so that next 1 million user come to the blockchain. But no one's were working towards this particular paradigm. This was the first user experience problem. So like I personally feel all these problems were user experience problem, because the user experience was bad, because I have to pay $30 for a transaction. So that's a bad user experience. I have to wait for 15 or 30 seconds for the transaction to get confirmed. Another bad user experience problem. So that's when we realized, Ethereum is great, but it needs a support, right? It needs support from layer to applications, layer to infrastructure, like so that it can onboard next 1 million users, right? So you can never have something as secure as Ethereum, but you can have a supporting protocol which is not that secure, or it uses the security of Ethereum plus provides faster transactions and almost like $0 price transactions, right? So we were like trying to build that particular ecosystem, and that's when we realized, if you want to build that ecosystem, right? So suppose we chose Polygon for that, and the obvious reasons were like I was very, very friendly with the Polygon team, and I had good experience working on Polygon, right? And at that particular time, like honestly speaking, Polygon was the only layer 2 solution out there which was mature enough to to be able to develop something on top of that, right? So we like chose Polygon ecosystem, and now we were figuring out how to make this Polygon ecosystem a massive success, how to make it how to like reach out to the other projects who are there on layer 1 solution like Ethereum, right? And how to tell them that, guys, come to Polygon, why don't you deploy on Polygon, because it's much cheaper, it's much faster, right? So then we realized, when all these projects will come, which they will eventually come because of the increasing gas prices and bad UX, right? So we realized that the first need of any decentralized ecosystem is decentralized exchange, right? If there is no exchange, nobody will come, because if any project that comes onto the blockchain, the first thing they need is a decentralized exchange to list their tokens, because right now 95% of the projects have their own token, and they need a place for users to trade, and the decentralized exchange is the best place, because you cannot get your token listed on sexes very easily, right? You have to go to a lot of process, you have to be very famous, and then you get listed over there, right? So we realized this in July and August, right? So we came forward and we decided we want to do this, we want to do a decentralized exchange, right, on Polygon. So we started doing that, and then we realized, instead of writing our own code, why don't we use Uniswap v2? Because Uniswap v2 was already very good, they were battle tested, and we all love Uniswap v2. So we decided, our core focus is not to develop something from new. Our core focus is to solve the UX, user experience problem. So why not use something which is already awesome, which is already used by thousands of people, which already handles billions of dollars of US dollars, lot of transactions are happening, and everything was still bulletproof. So why don't we use like the work created by those great guys at Uniswap, and let us only focus on the user experience? We will fix that, right? So that we can create a community ecosystem. So then that's when we decided, let's fork or let's clone Uniswap v2, and we did that, right? So, and we deployed that on Polygon without compromising anything on the security. That was the prime concern. So that's why, like, even to this date, we are more than 1 year old now, and to this date we haven't seen any hack on Quickswap, whereas we have seen hacks on other Uniswap forks, because like those guys did some changes into the code, right? So, and they were hacked. We have seen a lot of such instances, but not in case of Quickswap, right? So that's what we did. We forked Uniswap, we deployed it on Polygon. But then we realized, a blockchain ecosystem or decentralized exchange ecosystem is just not about exchange. It's not only about you deploy exchange and people are able to swap. No, you need analytics as well. You need tons of tool as well, right? And at that time, since Polygon was very new, right, and no big projects were there, so tools were not available. The Graph protocol was not there, no analytics, no Dune analytics. I mean, like literally nothing was there at that particular time. So we created our own solutions. We deployed our own version of Graph protocol so that we are able to give users analytics, right? So we did all those stuff, all those hard work just to improve the user experience problem. And I think there were like other exchanges were also there on Polygon before Quickswap came, but the only differentiating factor for Quickswap was we went to one extra mile to improve the UX, right? If something was not available on Polygon, we used to deploy it on our own so that our users don't face those problems, our partners don't face those problems, and that actually worked for us, right? So, and when the plethora of applications of protocols, projects, when they started coming to Polygon, and they started looking out for the exchange, Quickswap was the only complete solution available for them, right? So Avegochi came on board, and like it was the first big project for us, and very thankful to those guys that they came on board and like they did all their farming, all their payers on us. And since then, like it's one hell of a ride, right? So everyone now who comes to Polygon, they come to us. So yeah, so that's like like history about me and like what I have been doing and like since when I've been doing.
I think it's fair to say that you're very passionate about DeFi.
Definitely, I am.
Is that the main thing that got you into blockchain? Yeah, I know you mentioned that you had migrated from doing other things in the past into this space, but was DeFi like one of those things that like really piqued your interest, or was it something else about blockchain?
I mean, see, honestly speaking, the challenge behind this particular technology when I started, nothing was available at that particular time. That was something which compelled me to join this technology because I wanted to join a wagon where where it's starting from the very beginning, I would say, right? So I wanted to become a part of a technology where I can be a part of the technology since it's very early stages. I would say it's since its infant stages, right? So I joined this particular wagon when blockchain was still infant. It's still infant, but it's moving towards next phase of life. So I wanted to join a particular technology where in next 20 years I can easily say that this particular technology when it was a baby, right? Because if I do that, I'm like looking at the entire life cycle of that particular technology, right? So I know from where it began, right? What were the challenges that it faced and how those challenges were solved, right? So basically, I will know all in and outs of everything. It's more like uh, growing up a baby, right? So you adopted a baby which is 1 year old or maybe 4 or 5 months old, and when the baby is 20 years old, you know everything about the baby, right? Because you have seen the growing stages of that particular baby, right? So that's why I wanted to join blockchain. Like when I first got to know about blockchain and I studied more about it, I realized that I can fulfill my dream by going into this particular technology.
Got it. Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. I have a layer 2 question for you because you guys said that when you guys started QuickSwap, Polygon was the best option in terms of layer 2 solutions to use. Correct? Is there other layer 2 solutions similar to Polygon that are just as good that you think would work just as great as Polygon, or do you think the Polygon's the best one right now?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, Brendan, I lost you for a minute. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, no worries. I was saying you guys mentioned you guys set up QuickSwap with Polygon initially as a layer 2 solution because it was the best one that you guys had available at the time. Are there other layer 2 solutions that you think help scale Ethereum just as well as Polygon that you guys maybe would have considered using as well nowadays? Or do you think Polygon's still the best layer 2 solution at the moment?
See, at the moment, I still think Polygon is the best layer 2 solution because it's not just about technology, which makes a particular platform best. It's also about the community and the team behind that particular technology or the particular platform. And I think Polygon has the best team out there. It's not just me saying I'm 100% sure. Everyone, every project who's there on Polygon, they will definitely say that Polygon has the best team, best support team out there, right? So if you are building something on Polygon, if you are stuck somewhere, you can directly contact their team, which is very phenomenal. And I haven't seen this particular trend on any other platform out there, right? So I think that's why Polygon, like that's the main reason behind the growth of Polygon. It's not just the technology, it's their team, it's the effort of their team, like which they, I mean, like it's phenomenal, I would say. So like I personally have reached out to them in the early stages, like quite a few times, and they were very, very responsive. And like they would hear to you, like if you have some problem and if you have some suggestions, they will listen to you and they'll work on it, right? That's why this particular technology is growing so much, right? So to this state, I can say Polygon is the best layer 2 solution out there, and I don't see anyone in the near future as well, going past Polygon. So there are tons of different solutions coming out, but I think that's good for the ecosystem, because I do not see an ecosystem where there is just one solution out there, which is Polygon. No, it's going to be a multi-chain solution, that's for sure. Because if it's not multi-chain, it's not going to work. See, in case of blockchain, it's very much similar to banks. So what happens in case of bank? You cannot assume that there's going to be just one bank, which is World Bank, and catering to the needs of the entire planet. No, that's not that's not how it works. You have like tons of banks, hundreds or thousands of banks. Each country has its own bank, and each region within the country has their own banks. So I think there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of banks out there. What's more important is all those banks have a proper interconnectivity between them, right? You can talk to a bank, like an Indian bank can talk to a bank in the US or in opposite part of the world. That's more important. Like that is interbank communication. And because of that particular interbank communication, this banking system is successful, right? Similarly, in blockchain is very similar. You cannot have just one blockchain out there. There will be a multiple blockchain solutions out there. What's more important is inter-blockchain communication. That's like the target that we have to achieve for. That Polygon should be able to interact with Arbitrum seamlessly. Arbitrum should be able to interact with PSC, right? And similarly, like that's the future that I am looking forward to, because every blockchain has its own pros and cons. Like like each bank has its own product in which they excel, right? And if you want that product, you go to that bank, and if you want some other product, you go to a bank which provides that particular product, right? So similarly in blockchain, you have all these solutions out there, and each one has their own pros and cons. Polygon is good at something, Arbitrum is good at another thing. If your use case is being solved by Polygon, you will go to Polygon. If it's solved by Arbitrum, you will go to Arbitrum, right? But what's important is like these two technologies should be able to communicate with each other, and that's when like this dream of multi-chain future will be enabled. So I think it's good that all these platforms are coming up, because if these platforms are coming up, someday somebody will definitely make bridges which will make these technologies communicate with each other.
Yeah, multi-chain interoperability is really, really important. Being able to move assets cross-chain. Is that something you guys see maybe doing in the future with Quickswap, moving beyond just Ethereum and Ethereum-based assets, but being able to move assets across different blockchains that are out there?
That's more important. So I'd like we at Quickswap, we do not believe that deploying on multiple chains will do any benefit until and unless there is a cross blockchain communication out there. Because if we do that without cross blockchain communication, let's suppose we deploy on Arbitrum as well, like so what we'll be doing is we'll be thinning out our resources. We will thinning out our liquidity, our rewards, our team, and everything. Right now, we have to focus on two different blockchains, and it's not beneficial. And no big projects are doing that. Uniswap has not deployed on every other layer 2 solution out there, on just one. Same with Aave as well, right? Like same with other big protocols. So no one is doing that because they understand it's useless. You are thinning out your resources if you're doing that. Right. So we are not going to do that until and unless there is a proper multi-chain ecosystem out there where multiple chains can easily interact with each other. So if I'll deploy, let's say, Quickswap on Arbitrum, there should be a technology so that users should be able to tap onto the liquidity of not just Quickswap on Arbitrum, but Quickswap on Polygon as well. Right. If I want to do a swap, let's say ETH to DAI, that swap should happen across multiple chains, right? And that will happen in the future. I'm 100% sure about that, because if that's not going to happen, this entire ecosystem will fail, right? We cannot have, concentrated liquidity or, divided liquidity everywhere, like, because it won't be a useful liquidity. You need concentrated liquidity or connected liquidity so that you can make deep trades, right? In future, if you want like decentralized finance to become major component of the traditional finance, that you should be able to support trades worth $1 billion, $2 billion, right? With minimum slippage, with minimum price impact, right? So that's the future I'm looking at, and that can only be enabled when we'll have true multi-chain technologies. And when we'll have that, like, you will definitely see Quickswap at different places.
How long do you think it would be until we have more multi-chain technologies? It seems like that's something that's come along very slowly, but everyone kind of wants in the space.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I missed your first sentence.
Yeah, sorry. When do you think these multi-chain type technologies will come along? A lot of people talk about them for quite a while, and they're definitely very popular ideas. Do you think it's something we'll start to see more of maybe in 2022, or do you think it's going to take more time?
So I think, we will see the first phases of, I think the first phases of these bridges are already being experimented upon. Like we see tons of bridges now out there. I think that's the first step towards what we are talking about, like the multi-chain future. That's the first step. Those bridges are still very rudimentary, very early, I would say, but we are moving towards it, right? And we are already looking into it. And I think in 2020, we'll see of development happening towards this particular ecosystem, because now everyone understands the future is only multi-chain. Future is not single chain. It's not going to survive. It's multi-chain, right? So I am 100% sure tons of projects, people, big companies are actually working towards it. So we'll definitely see something in 2022. But as you said, it's still, it's still more than 12 months, in my opinion, for this technology to mature, right? It's going to take more than that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to probably take a little bit more time. A lot of ideas floating around on how to make that work too. One more main question that I want to ask you. With Quickswap, you said it was originally a clone from Uniswap v2, correct?
Right.
How does it differentiate from Uniswap v2 now and other exchanges out there, other decentralized exchanges? What makes it stand apart? What's more unique about Quickswap?
Okay, yeah. So like earlier when we started, it was exact clone, right? And because our core focus was to improve the UX, it wasn't the exchange, because we were very happy with the Uniswap and we are still very, very happy with the Uniswap. But what we were not happy about was the high transaction cost and the high transaction time, right? And we fixed that like when we deployed it. So like that's one of the differentiating factor, I would say. The transaction costs are very minimal or negligible, you can say that, and the transaction times are very fast. Apart from that, like there are tons of other things now, right? Because we are like doing a lot of development on Quickswap. So we have a different type of mining strategies which is running along, right? We have single LP mining now. Dual LP mining is going to be launched just after this interview. So after this interview ends, within an hour or so, we will basically deploy a dual mining. And what dual mining means basically is, so there are 4 pairs which will have dual rewards. So those are Matic USDC, Matic ETH, Matic USDT, and Matic Quick pairs. So when you supply liquidity onto these pairs, you get LP tokens, right? That's how AMMs or DEXs work. You get an LP token, and which basically signifies your share in that particular pool. Now, when you get those tokens, Quickswap basically gives you an option to stake your tokens, your LP tokens, and start earning Matic and Quick as a reward, right? That's what liquidity mining means. And we have already been running a single reward mining where we reward Quick tokens, not just Quick tokens, basically, right? For 80 or 83 different pairs, and we have been running this for almost a year now, right? And from today, we will start dual mining, dual rewards as well, where for the 4 pairs, Matic USDC, Matic USDT, Matic ETH, and Matic Quick, when you will stake your LP tokens for those particular pools, you will not only earn Quick, you will also earn Matic tokens, right? So this we have done in partnership with Matic protocol, right? So this is one of the, again, differentiating factor. Apart from that, we have another product which is called Dragon's Lair. Right. So every DEX has a certain percentage of fees associated with every trade that happens on that particular AMM. Same is true for Quickswap as well. On Quickswap, that fees is 0.3%. So whenever you make a trade on Quickswap, you are actually paying 0.3% as a fees of that particular trade's value. Right. Now, out of those 0.3%, 0.25% goes to the liquidity providers, because liquidity providers are the heart and soul of like AMM, any AMM out there, right? So 0.25% of the fees goes to them, right, who has provided liquidity onto the platform. Now, out of remaining 0.05%, 0.04% goes to the Dragon Layer, and 0.01% we keep it to the Quickswap's foundation, which basically funds the development, marketing, and all the activities that we do, right? So now, when you suppose you are a Quick token holder and you go to Dragon's Layer, and if you stake your Quick tokens, you will receive the portion of that 0.04% fees, right? So that's another product, which is Dragon's Lair, where if you stake your Quick tokens, you can, earn a portion of the platform's trading fees, and which is huge. Like APYs are very high. APYs in Dragon Lair is somewhere around 20 to 25%. Like I'm talking about an average APY, it's 20-25%, right? Now we
25%.
have another product, 20-25%. Yeah, I mean, like
Oh
that's,
my goodness.
I know that's too much. It depends on the trading volume, how much volume exchanges seeing on a particular day. But mostly, like on normal like days, the APYs are somewhere between 20-25% on Dragon's Lair, right?
Interesting. That's better
Now
than
we
my
have
bank
another
account.
product. I mean, bank accounts has no comparison. You cannot compare bank
Not at
account to
all.
this, right? So like the LP mining or the dual mining LPs, like the liquidity mining programs, like those have very high APYs on QuickSwap. I think the lowest APY is somewhere around like 7 or 10% for stable pairs, and we have as high APYs as I think 1000% as well for certain pairs out there. Right, so APYs are very very high on QuickSwap. You talk about LP mining, you talk about dual mining, you talk about Dragon's Lair, and then we have Dragon Syrup as well, right? So basically, what happens when you stake your Quick tokens on Dragon's Lair, you get another token which is called DQuick, right? And now you can stake your DQuick tokens into the Dragon Syrup. Like somewhere around 15 or 20 projects are part of the Dragon Syrup, this particular product. So when, you can choose one out of them or multiple out of them, and you can stake your DQuick tokens over there. When you stake your DQuick token, you start earning that particular project's token as well. So suppose there's a syrup pool running for, okay, so we have a syrup pool running for Matic as well, right? So if you go to that particular pool and you stake your DQuick token, you will start earning Matic tokens, right, as well. So these are like 4 or 5 different projects for the products within QuickSwap, I would say, or features or product, whatever you want to call them, which are very much interrelated as well, right? And this is what, it makes QuickSwap unique from all others. So these particular products are there on other AMMs as well, but either they are partially there or they are not connected. But on QuickSwap, everything is connected. Everything is connected. So on dual mining or single mining, the rewards that you don't get it in Quick tokens. You get it in DQuick, because when you get it on DQuick, you don't have to do anything, but you are also earning the part of platform fees, right? So to earn platforms, to become part of the platform fees, you don't have to do anything. Just provide your LP, and you will already earn DQuick, not Quick, right? Now put your DQuick into the syrup, and you will earn the project's token as well. So it's basically 4 or 5 different layers of APYs that you get. I mean, like if you intelligently work, you can get when you provide liquidity on QuickSwap. And I think that's one of the very, I like top priority differentiating factor for me, right? Apart from that, I mean, like the community of QuickSwap is awesome, I would say. Like I'm not sure about any other project, but I consider QuickSwap to be the first project which is 100% organically grown, right? There is nothing inorganic about the growth of QuickSwap. I mean, like we haven't done anything so far which you could say it's inorganic. All our liquidity, it's all organic. Volume is 100% organic. I mean, the community is 100% organic. Everything is like just organic for us. And the another differentiating factor for QuickSwap is its tokenomics. I mean, like our tokenomics is, I haven't seen such tokenomics anywhere in the entire, not just DeFi industry, in the entire blockchain industry. So more than 96% of the tokens will go to the users, will go to the community, right? That's how our economic model is. There is no investor associated with QuickSwap so far. So we have taken zero investment, no investors to dump tokens on you. I mean, like nothing of that sort. Team holds just 3.25% of the total token supply, right? And everything else for the community. Like 0.75% is for the marketing, 3.25% is for the team, which makes it 4%. And apart from that, everything else is for the community. And I haven't seen this tokenomics. And I think because of this tokenomics, because of no investors on board, that's why we have grown organically. And all these features, the community, these products, these tokenomics, the team, like the team of QuickSwap in itself is very unique, I would say, right? So all these things make QuickSwap very, very unique, like from others. And I think that is something which has played a major role in our growth.
Yeah, the tokenomics model is really important. That's actually really good. And it sounds a lot like yield farming too, or practically identically the same. But it's good because it offers so many different ways and products for people to, make a little passive income and participate in a completely, fully for the public, blockchain DEX in a way. And it's really good what you guys are doing. It's really cool. And I can see the differentiating factor as well. Anyways, Sameep, this is a pretty good place to consider wrapping up. A lot of information in the episode, but thank you for taking the time to come on and really explain what you guys are doing at Quickswap, kind of how you guys work, your model, and then what you kind of offer to your customers. So thank you.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I again lost you. Might be some network issues from my side, but I wasn't able to hear what you just said.
Oh, no worries.
I
I
again
was
lost
just
you.
saying,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time to come on and everything and explain Quickswap. Can you hear me? How about now? Can you hear me at all or no?
Just give me a second. I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me?
Hello. I can hear you now.
Hello? Okay, cool. I was just saying, thank you for taking the
Yeah,
time to
I
come
can hear you
on
now.
and yeah, thank you for taking the time to come on, explain Quickswap, and go into all the detail that you did. And love to have you again on in the future sometime. Can you hear me still, or is it kind of fading out?
I'm sorry, I lost you again.
It's okay, no worries. I'll wrap it up. Um,
Hello.
hold on.
I'm not sure what's wrong. So my internet is like working fine. Not sure.
I don't know, something up with the connection, but no worries. Anyways, we'll have
Maybe.
Sameep on again in the future. Awesome getting to hear from him and what they're doing at QuickSwap and what they're providing to their customers and what they're doing in the DeFi space. Sameep, if you can hear me, stay on and I'll try and connect with you in a second. Otherwise, see you in the future.